we have a roster that you know, it's interesting. They got what's her name, Arya Stark from they got Arya Stark from House of Cards. They got Harley Quinn. They got 4 characters from Adventure Time. They got the dragon. And then they got, like, you know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Like, they have a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of shared franchises kind of being represented right now, right? Really into Shaggy and Super Saiyan Shaggy and Ultra Instinct Shaggy. But look, I think when I think Warner Brothers, I think Arya Stark kind of hints at this. When I think Warner Brothers, I mean, there is a vast expanse of potential media that can be represented here. And I think we're selling ourselves short if we're only limiting ourselves to the characters that we're seeing, or potentially characters that we're seeing on the screen right now, because obviously there's so much more potential for characters from different franchises, characters from both you know, cartoons like Shaggy, but also characters who are like Arya Stark that aren't really from any kind of animated universe at all and are going to be represented for the first time in this sort of format. And I think that really does open the door. I think Arya Stark here is a hint. I'm seeing some hints in this trailer that are hinting towards things that we can expect in terms of the roster. Of course, they did tease, you know, we're going to be adding new modes, new characters, new skins, all kinds of stuff of that nature. And so without further ado, I want to present my wish list for characters that I really do hope that they're going to add into multiverses. I keep wanting to say metaverses because I've got the metaverse on the mind. Everyone knows this. The metaverse is the future, but I really do have, you know, I'm really trying not to mince my words here. So without further ado, let's go over 5 of the characters that I think should be added and need to be added, dare I say, for the commercial success of multiverses. I think this is how you hit as many possible audiences. So I'm going to be accounting for a lot of different kind of spheres here, a lot of different realms of fan bases, right? And I'm going to try to hit as many targets as possible. So first and foremost, of course, one of the characters that I think needs to be in the game, you know, I have it on pretty good faith that, okay, first of all, so like I said, Arya Stark, not an animated character, not a cartoon character. Somebody who, you know, when people watching Game of Thrones on Netflix or HBO or Hulu or whatever the platform's on, I don't know, I've never seen Game of Thrones. You know, she's a real live person with thoughts and feelings. And another real live person with thoughts and feelings who appears in Space Jam is, of course, LeBron James. I think we need LeBron for this game. First of all, this game is a non-star without LeBron James. I'm getting the big one out of the way. If we don't have LeBron, then it's not even worth talking about at this point. Players like KJH are going to come on board if you get LeBron, right? That's going to be huge for the development of the technical side of the game, developing advanced techniques. You're not going to get a guy like KJH to stop playing Fox in Super Smash Bros. Melee for one goddamn second if you don't have LeBron James. LeBron James doing big things, both on and off the court, of course, with Space Jam. I think that was really huge for him. And also potentially really huge for multiverses. Okay, so we need LeBron. First of all, I hate to do this, of course, as somebody who is officially Steph Curry's coworker. You know, but I have to, you know, I have to be impartial here. Sorry, Steph. LeBron's got to be in the game or it's a non-starter. So LeBron is going to be the first person that I'm asking for in multiverses. Of course, Space Jam being a Warner Brothers franchise. You know, we've got Bugs Bunny, so we've got half the team already, right? And it's not about Michael Jordan anymore. Of course, we all know so much about GOAT discussions across different eras at this point because of the top 100 of all time list. Everybody knows LeBron's the GOAT. It's not even a discussion. Sorry, Michael Jordan, you're old news. It's all about LeBron these days, so we're putting LeBron in. Okay. Number two. Gonna shift gears on this one a little bit. So I'm thinking LeBron is going to be an all-rounded character. I think LeBron's going to be the kind of guy thinking about gameplay here. LeBron's going to have, obviously, long-range moves, you know, and he's going to be probably pretty just, I'm envisioning him being pretty well-rounded, good frame data, probably just a very well-rounded fighter who can kind of cover all his bases. But this game is going to need some kooky characters as well. There's going to need some characters with some off-the-wall movesets, right? Characters that you're going to want to look at them and be like, hey, what's going on with what's going on with this character? What moves are they even bringing to the table? And on the cartoon front, yeah, we've got some Cartoon Network representation here with Adventure Time, but I think we can do one better. I'm 32 years old, so this is a character that I grew up with. Of course, I'm talking about Ed. I'm not talking about Nun. I'm talking about Ed. Ed, I think, is a character who could represent a very, very interesting move pool. I think that'd be huge for him. We've seen Ed, basically have the strength of 40 men. We've seen him contort his body into ridiculous ways. He is a character I think he could actually outdo the dog, whose name I keep forgetting. In terms of stretching himself and doing kind of crazy moves like that. He could pull out, he could have moves that refer to other aspects of the Ed Ed franchise. He could shoot jawbreakers at you. He could pull out, he could steal Plank and beat you over the head with Plank. That's a possibility. He could summon Double D and Eddie, Lord knows, to take part in the beatings as well. And also I just think, he's going to be the kind of character that's going to yield a lot of kooky animations. They're going to bring in, the sorts of people that like to play, characters like Nigel Thornberry and Nick Ulsters, right? You got to have some characters that are just doing some weird stuff. Yeah, we got Shaggy, but it looks like they've taken the Super Saiyan Ultra Instinct kind of approach with Shaggy. So who's representing the crazy looking dudes where you really don't know what the fuck they're going to do? They could explode at any given moment. I think that's going to be Ed. Ed is my number 2 on my wish list for this game. The third character I'm going to ask for is another cartoon character, but I'm going to shift gears a little bit here. Another franchise that's, I think, a very beloved franchise, even to this day. It got a bit of a reboot more recently, but it's a show that I grew up with that I really liked. And, I was thinking about who to include from this franchise because I do think there's a lot of really interesting potential. This franchise has a lot of really interesting characters that potentially have some really cool moves. And I debated and I debated with myself. But ultimately I landed on Raven. I think Raven should be in this game. It was down to Raven and Beast Boy, obviously, because Beast Boy could turn into a bunch of animals. I mean, hell, put them both in. Fine by me, but okay, for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going with Raven. And the reason I'm saying Raven, she can do darkness stuff that can come out at any. So imagine, she could have Lucy Loud this would be like the Lucy Loud character, the Lucy Loud players, right? Lucy Loud players are going to be playing Raven in this game, but she could have imagine she could have Eddie powers from Guilty Gear, Zato summons the Eddie and makes a drill come out of the ground that pressures you while he approaches, and the shadows coming out do the oppose thing. Raven could kind of fulfill that niche while also hitting that emo girl aesthetic for the people that are drawn to wanting to main Lucy Loud in a game like Nick All-Stars Brawl. I very recently discovered that Lucy Loud doesn't actually have dark powers. She doesn't actually turn into a vampire or a ghost in her respective franchise, Loud House. Apparently Lucy Loud is just a fucking emo, and she's the sister of Lincoln Loud, who also doesn't have any powers. And so I'm kind of looking at this thinking okay, they had to take this character and make her turn into a vampire and ghost and all this stuff to make her fit into this game. Raven fights. We know Raven fights, and we know that she's crazy. She's got crazy powers. There's so many ways you could make the character really interesting. She could put up barriers with darkness. She could shoot, she could pressure her opponent and stuff like that. I think something like Raven would be dope. And a little shout out here, I think Beast Boy would be really cool as well, because obviously he could turn into a bunch of animals, and he could even be a stance character, maybe he turns into a wolf or tiger or octopus or some shit. And has a bunch of I don't know. Obviously, the sky's the limit with characters like these, and the reason that I'm trending towards Raven and Beast Boy, I think they would just be more interesting characters from a moveset perspective than somebody like Robin. I don't know. I mean, Batman's already in it, right? So whatever, no big deal. But that's kind of where I'm at on that one. Ever watch DC Titans? Yeah, of course. Oh, you're talking about the old one? Not that much. Cyborg would be a big old zoner or whatever, and we already have plenty of big bodies. We have Ed. My first 2 people that I shouted out were, of course, LeBron and Ed, both of whom I think would be on the bigger side. So I thought I'd mix it up a bit. Cyborg would be a third big body. So I was like, eh. But more where that came from. I got more big bodies. I got one of the biggest bodies. I got, in fact, one of the biggest bodies of all. This is something I actually learned today. I tweeted about this, as a matter of fact. So those of you that saw this tweet of mine know exactly who I'm about to reference next, because I thought, this, to me, this was a big deal. To me, this was a fucking big deal. I didn't realize this was the case. Okay, so we've got Mario in Smash, right? We've got SpongeBob in Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, the flagship character. Who's the flagship character in this game? You guessed it. It's Bugs Bunny. Everyone knows Bugs Bunny is the, you know, he's basically just one of the, you know, the most beloved characters in you know, representing the brand, period. I mean, Lord knows every time I turn on any kind of movie that Warner Bros. Behind, you know, you got Bugs Bunny posted up with the WB Family Entertainment sign. Classic. Everybody knows Bugs Bunny. Everybody loves Bugs Bunny. But did you guys know, I didn't know this until today, that another very beloved form of Bugs Bunny is actually canonical. That's right. Of course, I'm talking about Big Chungus. Big Chungus is a meme. Of course, this is Bugs Bunny. And the context here is that Bugs Bunny was making fun of Elmer Fudd looking like a fat f***. Okay, honey's not a very difficult sport, idiot. And he's puffing himself up, making him look fat for a couple seconds. The internet takes hold of this years later and turns it into the beloved meme Big Chungus. What you might not have realized was, shit ain't just a meme no more. Big Chungus is canon because there's a video game, a gacha game, believe it or not, called Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. This is an officially licensed Warner Brothers property that exists. And in March 31st of this year, who did they release but Big Chungus? Okay, are they calling him Bugs Bunny? No, it's literally Big Chungus. This is why I say WB is down to meme. I did not realize this. This is an officially licensed Warner Brothers property. WB has canonicized Big Chungus. So Big Chungus, believe it or not, has a very real chance of making it in to WB Multiversus. Farm, Legendary Defender, Rabbit Rule. Side note, what the fuck is this game? This looks kind of fun. Should I play this game? This looks kind of tight. It sounds like he's got one voice line and I don't know what he's saying. What is he saying? The subtitles don't, the closed captions don't even know. Like, what is he saying? Is this like his super? That must be a super. Oh, there you go. Big Chungus is real. That'll hold him all right. Something go home to my wife. He's not Borat. He's not literally Borat. This is all to say. I think Big Chungus has a bigger shot, unironically, of getting into this game than I would say a lot of the characters from franchises that you guys are even thinking about. But okay. All right. Big Chungus, you know, that's one thing. Definitely think he has a shot at making it in, and I definitely think he would be another fun, big body character. People love Patrick. People love Reptar. Plup could play Big Chungus. Vish loves Big Chungus. Surefire way to make Vish laugh. If you want to make Vish laugh, if you guys ever have the rare pleasure of meeting Vish, pro tip from me, you can actually just reference Big Chungus. He finds it hysterical. He has a grade schooler sense of humor, extremely immature. So just do that. Free laughs. But okay. So Big Chungus, with him out of the way, I was really trying to figure out how to round out this top 5 list. And, you know, like I said, I did my preparation for this stream, right? I really did my homework. And in doing my homework, I just wanted to make sure I was covering all my bases. So of course I actually had to Google. I Googled Warner Brothers IP and I headed over to Wikipedia to really make sure I wasn't missing anything. If you go to the Wikipedia category for Warner Brothers franchises, you'll notice, you know, Cartoon Network franchises, DC Comics franchises, Adult Swim franchises. And so there's a lot of possibilities there. Hanna-Barbera, of course, we could have, you know, Fred Flintstone or whatever. And then I noticed Mike Tyson Mysteries. And of course, the final character that I think needs to be added to WB Multiversus to really give this game the success it deserves is, of course, my idol, Mike Tyson. I don't think this game is complete without Mike Tyson. I really don't. Ever since I watched Ip Man 3, I've realized that the man really does still have it. If there's a way we can even get Donnie Yen on board as well and be able to reconstruct the legendary fight between Donnie Yen and Mike Tyson, if you've never seen Hitman 3, you really do owe it to yourself. I would love that. But Mike Tyson is a legendary fighter. Okay, and yeah, he bit off that guy's ear that one time. But, I mean, Arya Stark is from Game of Thrones, and I'm pretty sure more heinous stuff happens in Game of Thrones on a regular basis. I really don't think that rules him out at this point. We've got Scooby-Doo going Super Saiyan. You know, the sky's kind of the limit. Big Chungus might be on the table. If Big Chungus is on the table and LeBron's on the table, I think Mike Tyson's on the table. And Mike Tyson knows how to fight. He's legendary. Right, he could have a bite command grab, just like Nagore Yuki from Guilty Gear Strive, or Lucy Loud, who we've already discussed, from Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. Those are all on the table. Imagine you bite someone, they lose their ear, and then they move at like 80% of the speed that they would normally move at or something. Or even better, it mutes their audio on their side. You bite their ear off with your bite command grab, and then on their end, because of the game's, you know, netcode or whatever, like it's going to be an online game, they literally lose hearing. They no longer can hear audio, which is going to slow their reaction time down. I think that's fucking sick. I think that's the kind of mechanic this game really needs to take it to the next level. We've seen some really cool stuff in this trailer, some really interesting ideas for movesets. You know, we had Arya Stark throw some kind of tracking device onto her opponent and then teleport up to them, nothing personal can, and just slice them from behind. This is a reference, of course, to Game of Thrones. This happens all the time in Game of Thrones. They throw tracking devices at each other and then teleport. Very common. Anyone who's seen Game of Thrones, I of course have, knows that this happens all the time. And you know, winter's coming, and dragon blood and winter walkers. You know, these are all Game of Thrones concepts. But this is all to say that I think, you know, one thing that's really impressed me so far with Multiversus is that they're really pulling out all the stops in terms of what kind of crazy ass movesets characters can have. And I would like to see the ear bite. I think they should make it happen. Yeah, we could. I mean, there's a lot of other characters, right, that could make the cut. Samurai Jack could be in. The Powerpuff Girls or Mojo Jojo could be in. Dexter from Dexter's Lab. Mandark, right? There's a lot of characters that could make it in, for sure. And other Warner Brothers properties. I would love for Donnie Yen to be in.